But for the time being, all eyes will be set here on the main stage as we jump in to some Plaza strongholds to kick things off. We have Tox and Renegades going toe-to-toe against one another, and the matchup has begun, so we could jump over to the game as soon as we possibly can. It seems like the action has already gotten hot and heavy over here.
Yeah, it looks like they're kicking it off, and we're going to jump on board with Royal 2. Looks like a little bit of a standoff situation. They didn't get control of the center of the map, so looks like they're going to have to try and play this one slow, get a couple picks, and if there's anyone that enjoys playing the map slow, it's going to be Royal 2.
Ain't that the truth? And just so you guys are aware, Snakebite did manage to pick up the camo there at around 11:51. We'll keep tabs on that one as it comes back up a little bit later. But I'm so excited for this game, Walshy. This is the kind of matchup that I've been wanting to see all weekend long. These top teams colliding against one another, and it's about who is going to give, who's going to be able to take as well in these moments. And so far, Tox, they're going to be on the board trying to just pin them in. Lethal picks up a double, and this is looking like a trip cap here for Tox.
Yeah, strong start, and this puts Renegades in a tough position. Do they decide to double down and go in the center of the map and try to get those strongholds controlled, or just stop the bleeding over at Yard? It looks like they opt to put a little band-aid on, stop Yard, and then set up another push.
But I think Lethal wants to try and rip the band-aid off. No, it's going to be Renegades managing to stop him top gold, but here comes Neptune now on the prowl. The player from Tox looking to just make that flip happen, and Neptune, the young player here, going up against a veteran in Tox, a battle that went on for so long. Lethal was able to come out on top there.
Now, that was a huge win by Lethal, but we got to call out Neptune on that one. Neptune had the advantage. We kept praising him for being one of those players who's going to win the majority of his fights. We talked about him being that next generation of top firepower here in the Halo scene. Let's see if he can keep it up. So let's go back on board with Neptune like we have right now and see if we can get some revenge after that bobbled fight in Yard. He was able to take out that first kill. I believe that was Royal 2. Now let's see what he does here. His team has control of the center of the map. Now does he get greedy and push for Yard? Does he just try to go get a sort of kill? And it looks like he's getting greedy. Let's go back on board with Neptune after we check out this view and see what he's going to do, because Camel came up, Neptune left. He's going for Yard. He's going for some sort of trip cap, but actually Neptune does revert back after it looked like he was going to flank through on the driveway.
Camo still has not been picked up quite yet. It's actually Snakebite trying to go for it. Top bridge, trying to
Three down.
Yeah, was Camo picked up? Yeah, there it is, finally picked up by Mikwin. And then absolutely useless there. Ends up getting hit with the plasma pistol, loses all his shields, and that's it. But still though, the trip cap for the blue team, Renegades, they're gonna get right back in this game.
That was absolutely huge. Started off looking so good for Renegades right there during that camo time where they got 3 kills, but unfortunately Mikwin got picked off, and he felt like he was in a safe position now. I almost don't disagree with him. He jumped up very top center, tried to get some views, and instead he got hit with a combo. Hit with that green gun pistol combo and just taken out. So it's really tough to know what to do. Do you play around the grenade? Do you play around the combo? I think in Mikwin's case, I usually would play around the grenade, avoid that. So it's really tough to blame him there, but at the same time too, that is a massive loss.
Regardless though, they have the lead, they have control, Walshy. So, you know, I look at it like this. Sure, you weren't able to take much advantage of the active camouflage. You weren't able to use that to its fullest potential, but you kept that out of the hands of Tox, and now you have a decent lead here, at least 13, 12, 13 points.
You can't look at a camo being out of the hands of Tox when you had 3 members down and you just picked it up. There was only 1 player left. So Halo is a game all about greed. And GB, I know you're a really greedy man, so I know you can appreciate that.
That's not remotely true. I share my food with my wife sometimes, you know? Not like you, Dave. How could you? How could you? But look at this here, though, right? It's kind of been going back and forth. Tox had control for a little bit. Renegades managed to regain control for the time being bottom mid. And now, though, this is going to be Tox owning the outside, playing this one around, seeing if anyone's going to try and sneak around them, perhaps. And things have kind of slowed down here in New Orleans as World 2 looking to force the situation here onto Yard. Neptune won't really be able to do much, given that he was already 2 shots. And it seems like despite him being at Yard, they're not really trying to put any attention there because it was a player creeping up behind them already. But they have to figure out the answer to now make their way over, maybe push Nest. I mean, in this situation, now that they have camo, what does Renegades look to do to try and break this?
I mean, it's tough. At some point, you just have to find whatever kills you can. At some point, if you get a couple kills, then it really doesn't matter about that camo nearly as much. Camo is just more threatening when you're on even footing. So at some point, they just have to see whatever other kills that they can pick up or what mistakes that Tox may make. So right now, they are not seemingly to make any mistakes, but as I say that, Neptune catches Frosty off guard, takes out the camo. That threat's out of the picture now, but during that time, Tox was able to get a trip cap. So this puts Renegades in a tough position because they commit, they start to push out, and it looks like they're gonna commit to Nest / bottom middle, and Mikwin actually even completely backing down. He realizes how important his death would be right here. Even though the trip cap's going down, he can't single-handedly cap that by himself. He needs to wait for some help.
And he ends up exposing himself in the top snipe, and that is gonna cost him dearly, which means that now Renegades is going to have to deal with Yard. They need points. They can't allow Tox to continue to get the trip cap like this because they're racking up the points. They've now crossed the 80-point threshold. 20 points remaining. This game has already gone out of hand, and I don't think Renegades can stabilize this to be able to get back in this game.
Yeah, that's the scary part. You have that really tough position when the opposing team has a trip cap. Do you get greedy and go in the center of the map and try to get control of bottom middle nest, or do you stop the bleeding? And they did not stop that bleeding. They need someone to kiss that boo-boo over there because that is going to be tough, and that's going to be first game going over to Tox.
Maybe they needed a Band-Aid. I don't know, a gauze pad or something like that. It's blood everywhere. Okay, well, that is going to do it for game number 1. Tox gets that trip cap and never looked back. Renegades, they had to make a decision. Do we try and slay out a little bit and then make the cap happen? Or do we go for the capture by ourselves? In the case of Mikwin, he opted to go for the slays, ended up losing that very advantageous spot on Nest. That was that. But here, they take a look at that post-game Carnage report. Penguin with 4 kills, but honestly, I just don't. I look at this as like kind of like a game where he just wasn't really able to get something going because they were really just fighting.
But
out
also
of the
most damage on his team. Thank you for showing that, our observers. 2,100 damage, most damage in the game, actually.
Wow. Well, let's see if he can carry that damage on to Slayer Truth. If you're just joining us, Tox are currently up 1-0 in our winner semifinal matchup. Winner will move on to the winner finals, where they will await the winner of Splice and Reciprocity, our matchup coming up after this one, and one you certainly do not want to miss. Golden Boy and Walshy here on the call as we get ready for game number 2. Slayer on Truth, Slayer on Truth. I don't know why I had a brain fart there for a brief moment, Dave. I was almost like you had a senior moment.
Dude, I have them all the time. It's pretty great. Just surprises every day.
I have a lot of senior moments.
Dude, actually, all right, I want to talk about one of the worst ones I had this weekend so far. Shabby Dagger, I'm calling you back out because we were out on Bourbon Street last night. He was like, hey, you remember me? I was like, yeah, dude, remember, talked to you the last night. He goes, what's my name then? Dude, come on, you can't just call out a man like that right in the spot.
Exactly, horrible stuff. How could you do that, Shabby Dagger? But I remember your name. Big shout out to our observers, Wonder Boy and Hines in the back. Always fun to hang out with Richie Hines here when we're together, but although we do live in the same state, we never actually get to see each other all that much. Now, though, on to Slayer Truth. And Tox up 1-0. And again, Renegades hanging in there with Tox. And this has been I like this. Our top 4 is so hotly contested right now, Dave. It's been a joy to watch thus far in this competition.
Yeah, it's reinvigorating just kind of watching the Halo 5 competition change over these years, because we were at a point a year or 2 ago where we said, is Optic / Tox actually going to be beaten in Halo 5's entirety throughout the rest of Halo 5? There was a period where I was like, I'm uncertain if that'll even happen because they just look so far ahead of the competition. But competition breeds competition as these teams kept sharpening each other, getting better, doing roster changes, and now Tox, you can almost even argue, is not the favorite to win this tournament.
Yeah, there's just any of the top 4, I think, has the capability to be able to win. Be able to take home $100,000. And Renegades right now are currently going to be up 9-7. Just as I say that, Frosty, though, is looking to pick up a double kill, but he's going to get the support there from Snakebite, thus bringing him within 1 kill of coming back and tying this game up here. Not quite taking the lead yet. As for Renegades, they just got to do what they've done best here, what's brought them to the dance. And so far, though, Tox have just had their number. in these last couple of slays. I think that's been, I want to say, like maybe 4 or 5 kills that they've gotten pretty much uncontested that brought them back into this game.
Yeah, but looks like Penguin and Neptune were able to pick up a couple kills and get at least some sort of answer back. That's going to be Frosty falling as well, so let's see what Renegades can do now that they have control. And it looks like they're going to be on the hunt. And that's not too surprising considering how aggressive some of these players are. APG, notoriously aggressive back in the day, especially in like the Halo 3 days. You look at the likes of Mikwin and Neptune, they'll happily fly on out and challenge some fights.
That is actually going to be the camo for APG. Let's see if he can put this to use. Exactly able to do so. Can he win this one out? No, but he's going to have support though. Still, he was able to get at least 1 kill and assist on another one. Considerable amount. So that's going to keep it 17-14 right now. Renegades looking like they have the capability to take this game here if it keeps going in this pace. And there's your Platinum Rec Pack negative Fisher for you to redeem there at halo.gg. Go ahead and redeem that one as soon as you possibly can there. But 6-kill lead for Renegades now, Walshy.
Yeah, otherwise I was going to say with that Rec Pack too, back in the day if we had our old friend and player Fear itself, we could say negative Fizz. Sure.
Oh, come on. I guess that was a good one.
That's all right, dude.
Yeah, it was a good one. I'll take it.
And you might think I'm being clever, or I was just actually an idiot and read it incorrect the very first time, but luckily I was not the one speaking at that moment.
Yeah. Well, though, let's focus back here on the game, Walshy. You're throwing me off with your dad jokes. I can't handle this. You know, it's too much for me. I'm not used to this. How does Sims deal with this is beyond me.
And maybe there's a reason why he didn't come back. He's like, I got cast as well. No, I'm out of here, dude.
I'm going to go to Vegas. Okay, so Renegades now continuing to add on to this lead, a 7-kill lead. And again, very, very impressed with Renegades thus far. They have shown that their coordination on Slayer, them being able to play around the camo like they did. Camo should be coming up as well in a little bit once again. It should play a role in. As of right now, they do have that side on the map. They do have presence on the pink tower side. They just need to be able to get this camo here and then add on to this. That's exactly what happens. Add on to the scoreboard.
Yep, they got that camo, but one thing that's been important is they've kind of kept control over this last 2 minutes, like minute and a half to 2 minutes. You can almost even point back to that original camo where they got 2 members down or so and just kind of kept that cyclical spawn trap going on Tox, where they would not let them get all 4 up and push when they want to. Like, look at the sort of pressure that someone like Frosty is facing as he's just trying to desperately stay alive in Eli Ledge. It's just nonstop pressure, and that's one of the toughest playstyles to play against. When you can slow things down, catch your breath, make a push at your own leisure, that feels a lot better than getting shot off your spawn or getting pushed down the base. So it looks like now that they've reached a bit of this pressure, it looks like Tox able to acquire a couple kills and slow this down a bit, but there's still 7 kills out.
But that's the thing that made Splice so formidable in the Halo World Championship 2018 season. They flew at you. It was constant pressure. Everywhere you looked, there was a member of Splicer like a spider monkey just jumping all over you, and you had no idea what the heck was going on. And you're like, wait a minute, I'm actually playing a game here? I thought I was being swarmed by the Zerg of StarCraft, you know? But instead, they end up, you know, the way that I should say, like Tox played, it was a much more, I guess, calm, slow-paced game, because that's what they like to do.
Yeah, they
like
would
to
go
control
like
the pace of
that
the action.
slow-paced part, like you said, but as soon as they got those couple kills, they would collapse in and do that, but it didn't feel like it was non-stop. It didn't feel like you would have it 5 spawns back-to-back, or even in some neutral times, it felt like both teams would respect each other enough where they'd kind of back down, or Tox would opt to back down and get some sort of full push or setup before making a move. But no, a lot of these other teams, they are happy to increase the pace of the game and just push, push, push.
Camo's going to be popping up in a little under 10 seconds here, and it seems like Tox might be able to get possession of that, if possible. Granted, though, for Tox, the struggle has been not allowing trades to take place, and Mikwin just sneaks right underneath. He's going to be able to get the camouflage once again, and that is going to put them in such a great position here. 6 kills from being able to close out Truth Slayer. And I like what I'm seeing from Renegades, consistently putting the pressure on to Tox, not allowing them to be able to get any kind of momentum building here. When you think they have something, it just gets stopped right in its tracks. Here comes Neptune, finds one in front of him. That's going to be lethal. He just dips out of there. He realized he had no shield. Just a smart veteran play from this young man. Yeah,
he's just got such a good shot. Previously, we saw him struggle in the yard against Lethal, but there was no problem there. He's able to finish that headshot over at blue side car. Right there, at least get the damage on it, and that's all you need right now, because if you have a 10-kill lead, charge because you can't lose. That's going to be a tie game, 1-1, Tox versus Renegades.
And that wasn't one of those games where you're looking at it and saying, oh, you know, Renegades were able to squeak by with that. No siree. That was a well-played game from Renegades. Tox did not have an answer, all Truth Slayer, and now we're all tied up 1-1.
Yeah, they had the answer early on. It felt like they had a good start, they were playing well, but then it felt like at some point, just Renegades took off, and I feel like it was during that camo time when I was just going on a random rant, so I don't know what happened.
You know what? I'm not surprised. But I just like hearing story time with Dave Walsh, so I'm okay with that.
Oh, cool, that
you
too.
And I just tell stories. That's just what we do. You know, that's our commentary side. Gaskin told me, he's like, you guys just talk. And it's like, yeah, it's kind of what we do.
Dude,
we've been doing this for how many years together? So we kind of just talk. That's it.
I'm not gonna lie, there was this time back, one of the first times we met back in Michigan, you were coming out to the Gamers for Giving events, and I was like, all right, I gotta put this to the test. My friend Zach Weigel, his mom talks a lot.
Yeah.
She talks a lot, and so like I'll go down to breakfast and I'll hear stories for an hour and a half straight, and I was like, hey, Alex, meet Mrs. Weigel.
Yeah.
And then you two just went at it for 2.5 hours, and you guys still weren't even finished with any of the stories.
Dave, I don't know if you know this, my friend, but I love the sound of my own voice. I love it, okay? And everyone right now watching on Mixer, watching on Twitch, you are being blessed with the sound of my voice currently. Everyone in New Orleans, you're welcome, okay? You're welcome. But what I'm grateful for is our new map Echelon and our new game type Oddball that's going to be coming in for game number 3. First time we're gonna be able to see Echelon here, at least for myself, or for me to be able to cast this one. And Echelon, and I guess we might as well take a step back. How would these players approach Oddball here? You know, for any of our newer viewers who may not know Walsh.
First off, Oddball, clearly it's a objective-oriented game type where you want to secure that ball. You got to hold it for 150 seconds, aka points, in order to win. And a lot of this revolves around either holding a setup, being in a static position where your team sets up around you, or what you'll see all these other top teams do is rotate around the map. So as soon as one of their parts of their setup breaks down, they're going to push over to the strong side. They're going to push over there and set up in a new location, keep racking up time. And as soon as things all fall apart, the ideal play is playing that ball. You gotta play the ball, as Clutch would say. You gotta toss it off the map, put it in that neutral location because it's so vulnerable, especially here on Echelon.
Yeah, that certainly did hurt on our last matchup there, seeing Hitmen and just not being able to play that ball. Well, that happened.
Oh,
I didn't know we had Clayster playing Halo.
And
I didn't know that was a thing.
McWin had a little smile on his face, but yeah, you could just see his head tilted back. Like, are you kidding me? So as you can tell, these top pros, they don't have the movement down perfectly on these yet. And I think what McWin was trying to do was just trying to land over on that side of the pipes and could not pan out.
Man, who knew that McWin was a clamber kid? Just relied on that clamber to keep himself on the map. I just thought he Gandhi hopped. That was it. I just thought he used the mechanics of the game. In any case, so jokes aside, Tox right now with 33 points, and they're just playing the ball whenever the pressure comes through. And I think it was Onset and Bravo in their cast that were talking about this, right? It's kind of just playing it like 10 seconds, 15 seconds, dump the ball. 10 seconds, 50 seconds, dump the ball. I'm sounding like Elamite now with 15. Just dump the ball as much as you possibly can and just keep it away from the enemies.
Yeah, and it depends. So that is one of the cadences that you'll see in some Oddball games and maps. There's other times where it turns to be like a setup motion, where back in like Halo 2, for example, on Lockout, you didn't care about scrapping up 10 or 15 seconds on that one. You wanted to get a full setup. You cared about getting the slays, getting the ball over towards library, and getting a couple minutes of time. You could literally get 60 to 120 seconds back to back with a good setup.
APG just tore up Tox in that run, and now has just picked up the camouflage here. No ball control quite yet since it was just played. But APG, he has just been picking up the pieces here. Whenever a player tries to challenge, going for the triple kill, but it's not going to happen. Does get the double kill. That was going to be his second of that run. No ball picked up quite yet, though. Still, very close game here on Echelon.
Yeah, it's just back and forth. It looks like Tox were playing so strong off the start, but we haven't seen them acquire a single point in this last minute or so. I believe their lead was something like 33-10 early on, and look at that. They're still at the 33 mark, but it looks like they're finally putting some more points on the board. But while that's going on, Penguin and his Renegade teammate pushing it over towards blue/bunker, gonna get that kill on Lethal. Take their time, get the chills back, and then push on out.
And there you go, the ball has been played again. What we're seeing here is a lot of play around the Pelican here, because that's the safest part, to be able to dump the ball off. There's a lot of space there. There's no chance for you to kind of flub around it, right? You can just play the ball when it's absolutely necessary. And you know, like, they have to push toward you, right? You don't really have much of a choice. You can also play in the mid area as well, but that part, you kind of have a little too much activity above.
Pelican's just this very safe position. By safe, I mean as a single player holding the ball over there, you should be able to safely play the ball. You have a lot of geometry. You can hide around, dodge your grenades, dodge shots, and just like I said, get in that play ball. And in order for someone to get over to you, they have to go through a couple open areas. I mean, they have to go from like engine/silo side and push out in the open, or they have to come through bunker and go through that yard. So there's just a lot of open ground that a player has to get over to you. And guess what? They can't really have camo because it spawns over at the Pelican.
Rockets picked up once again by Tox. Ball still going to be up for grabs, and that's going to be Renegades managing to secure that one. Where are they going to take the ball? It seems like they're going to keep it a little bit toward junction side there. Camo's going to be up as well, and who ended up getting the camo on that one? That was going to be Frosty, who nabbed it, but ends up dying at the hands of Neptune, who had that one time. But now both teams are going to know when that's going to be coming up, at the very least.
Yep, both teams going to have that time on that one, and they'll be reverting back over to that area in about a couple minutes. So right now it's just going to be who gets these slays. We do have Rockets coming up, though, in 1 minute, so we're going to have to see if a team decides to, you know, drop ball and revert over there. But that's so far away at this point that even Renegades doesn't have to worry about setting it up. The state of the game is going to change so much here in the next 50 seconds.
We're at the 6 minute and 45-second mark here. Renegades is outslaying Tox 42-37 now. Not quite a bit, but as you had mentioned before, you outslay. That should more likely lead to the win.
More often than not. I mean, I don't have the Halo Data Hive stats pulled up in front of me, but if I had to guess in objective games, the team that outslays by double-digit amounts, I would say that has to win 80+% of the time at this high level of play.
The team that outslays together wins together. You like that?
I do kind of like that.
You could use it. I give you permission. It's okay. You just pay me a penny royalty every time you use it, because I know you're going to use it a lot. So now we have Tox climbing back into this matchup. It's going to be a tied game, folks. Tox right back in this one. And what a matchup this has been. Renegades and Tox have just been toe-to-toe this entire time. Rockets have just been picked up yet again. Camo's going to be up for grabs as well.
Yep. Penguin has those rockets. Looks like he may migrate over to his aviary adversary over towards the Pelican. Try to get this camo, which is coming up in 13 seconds. And that's a huge kill. I like this play. I like the play where he was going to stay there, but looks like he opts to be a bit more selfless. He wants to try to stop this ball. Maybe he just realized his other teammate can revert over and fill in his position to that spot. At first I thought it was a massive mistake, but it looks like he called his teammates in. 2 of his teammates died. That camo did pop up, but I believe it was burned.
They weren't able to get the slays, but it was a good play. Pushing, cooling, they had a teammate by the Pelican, so that this way, when camo came up, they can go ahead and nab that one, and then maybe see if they could bring that ball back over to the Pelican, because they wanted to at least have a body in cooling. But now, though, the game is kind of stalled out once again. This matchup has been so close, 82-85, 3 points separating these two teams. And Tox now has the ball, and they're taking it over to the cooling side. Let's see how Renegades push forward here. Lots of angles for them to do so. And Lethal's now going to be one shot. A player should be challenging him low, potentially, and he's got to watch out for that nade.
What a god nade there
beautiful.
from APG to take out his former teammate Lethal. That was such a great play. Now let's jump on board with Snakebite, see what he's going to do. Rockets coming up in 30, so even though Renegades are putting some points up on the board, Snakebite's looking at the bigger picture, realizing he has to secure this area, get a couple kills, and then they can get those rockets. But instead, looks like he decides to help push with his teammates. He doesn't want to give up 20+ free points in that case. But there's the free play ball, so I would love to see Snakebite revert back over towards rockets, but actually, sorry, I was off on the time on rockets. There we go.
Yeah, they're up now, or they were up.
Oh yeah, they're up now.
They're up now. But what I was going to point out, though, I was actually looking at some of the screens here, and APG was actually hanging around cooling Open Wrap and then went over to Pelican. That gave him a lot of time there to just jump back into the game. Penguin waiting to see if anyone grabs the ball. Has to be so careful, though, not get picked off, especially with the rockets and 2 in the chamber. That was a Camel player in front, Frosty. Gonna have to take a dirt nap there for the time being. So close here, 3 minutes and 34 seconds, Dave.
Now, one thing that you'll see teams consistently do here on this map is once they grab the ball, they'll usually go towards bottom left. One of the reasons being is you have so many other exposed routes if you were trying to run up. If you were trying to go up those open ramp stairs, you try to go over towards yard or try to go in towards blue, there's just so many different spots where a player can just be above and grenade, and it just takes so much more firepower to hold those other areas. Whereas, if you could just jump in, that ball spawn, snag it, and go towards bottom left, you have great options. You have that cover of inside the area. You can go back towards engine 1 if you feel like you've already reached safety. If you feel like you're being pressured, you can play the ball. If your team has rocket side, you can lift up. There's just a lot of great options you have from running down there where you don't need full control in order to grab the ball.
Great overall map view from our observers here, and Camo was picked up. I had mentioned earlier I thought Frosty had it. Maybe he just has the Halo Reach camo that he could use whenever he wants. Now this is going to be a potential push with a play ball from Tox, 126 to 113. Neptune waiting this one out to see if anyone is going to challenge him, which he does get that ball, and he's going to play it in that familiar area, right? Low into cooling, as well as that open ramp, but they don't have Pelican. There's no one there in Pelican right now to be able to support them, and no opportunity for them to play the ball. Snakebite gets a double kill out of that, and that is going to give Tox control. And at this point in the game, where you only have 20 points remaining, this is dangerous.
Yeah, very dangerous. I mean, rockets are coming up, so you're going to see Renegades spawn over on rocket side of the map, but they're going to have to sprint on over. They don't have much time to take their time and push slowly, because this is just dangerous territory. It looks like they play the ball, though. Tox has realized they've been in these situations before, and when in doubt, play that ball.
That's going to be 2 members of Tox down presently.
Here's that spot I told you about again. Going towards that bottom left side. It's one of the safest spots you can go to when you first pick up that ball, assuming you have control of this bottom lift.
And they have rockets to be able to stop anyone from pushing in this one. That's going to guarantee them a kill. Just like that, Lethal's going to be out of this one. They have to pick up that ball and get back into this. It's playing by the edge. Play ball again.
Yeah, I don't fully disagree with that. Most of the time, I'm against them trying to scrap up the last second or two. I'd rather them drop the ball and lay some damage down. But based on the situation in game, when you're down to the wire here, only 8 seconds away from victory from Tox.
That's 3 down.
We are so close here for Renegades as well. They just need to hold on to this for 10 seconds. They can win this game.
Such a close matchup here, folks. 60 seconds left on the clock, and the ball's going to be in the hands of Renegades. They could win this one. 4 seconds, 3 seconds remaining. Mickwin so close, and that is going to do it. Renegades are going to go up in this series 2-1 against Tox.
That was just interesting plays at the end there from Renegades when it came to the oddball maneuvers. The reason I also said that it was,
up at the end
it was just clutch maneuvers there from Mickwin. The APG play at the end where he scrapped in the last couple seconds. Like I said, that one's really tough in my eyes, but I felt like he was already no shields. He was already backed into a tough position. So might as well take the extra second or two. I mean, getting that one bullet on somebody might not be worth it, especially given the exact circumstances that he was in.
Yeah, looking at the final moments of that game, it was Neptune and Penguin who took out Snakebite and World 2. World 2 had the ball at that moment. He had it in his hand, and then that led Penguin to get the follow-up kill onto Frosty. With that kill onto Frosty, that allowed them to be able to get that ball back. Lethal had it for a brief moment, but it was Mickwin's final touch and the slaying all around from Neptune and Penguin that brought them that win, and now they're up 2-1.
And one thing I noticed on the stat page there at the end is just the amounts of damage you saw from some of those players. I think we saw 3K plus for every member on Tox, except for Lethal. He was at around the 2,700 mark, and then Penguin just leading the charge for his squad of Renegades with 3,700 damage.
That was such a close game. I mean, at any point in time, I think the difference was like maybe 3 points separating these teams. And then toward the end, you had that one moment where Tox could have won it. They could have won the game. But a big clutch play from Renegades are going to give them that win.
And how often do we end up saying that, hey, if Tox had clutched it, they would have won a game? It's more like, oh, Tox clutches it. That's just what they do. So they're just meeting some strong adversaries here in the form of Renegades. So they have to pick it up right here. We are now going on to Refuge, Capture the Flag, made by Pone Jones.
Not Pacific Northwest Jones.
He could be in Pacific Northwest still. Don't you dare. How do you know his geographical location?
I don't know. You know, you're right. You're right.
Exactly. How dare you assume?
I'm so sorry. How dare I? Because you know what happens when you assume. Well, now we're going to be over to CTF on Refuge. Refuge, Refuge, or just Sanctuary as the kids know it. And
I don't think the kids know it as that. I think it's just the old people like us.
Or yeah, that's very true. That's very true. But this is going to be a very close matchup. Renegades 1 game away from going to the winter finals against Tox. Renegades in a huge position now, Walshy, and a big opportunity. What a game this has been.
Yeah, I mean, very infrequently do we see Tox with their backs against the wall, except when it's like the winners finals or the losers bracket finals or the grand finals. Right now, I mean, they have no room for error. This game could knock them to the elimination bracket. So this is a really tough position. We're gonna have to see what they do and put to the test, because this Renegade squad does not seem like they're slowing down. They have control ring right now. They have control sniper in the hands of Neptune. They're looking good.
Neptune, the only player on the map with a sniper rifle. So look for him to be a playmaker here. If he's able to get a position that he's going to feel comfortable with. Just sneaking around. Player going to be in front of him. Oh, he's not able to do it quite yet, and that is going to drop the sniper right in front of ring 1 on the red side. And still, though, no one really giving up any control quite yet. A flag was pulled, and trying to see who that was that made that pull happen over there on the other side. I think that was Snakebite who tried to make that pull happen. Yes, it was. He ends up losing his life on that. And
oh, they can still get that touch though.
Yeah, no.
I thought that flag was dead. I think Renegades also assumed that. They said, all right, there's nobody here in Rocks. It's almost already your turn.
They just lost 2 players though.
Yeah, so that probably puts a damper on it, puts a stop to it. Well, whole point being is that could have been scary territory there for Renegades.
Renegades going to have to be very careful. Give Tox an inch, they're going to take a mile. We've seen them do it so many times in the past. Still, though, an even game, 0-0. If you're just joining us here, Renegades winning in a nail-biter on Echelon Oddball, the new map in game mode added to the Halo Championship Series. It has been quite the series thus far between Tox and Renegades. And I think everyone has just been very impressed with how Renegades have been performing. This is Tox, 2-time Halo World Champion, runner-up for Halo World Championship 2018. This is no easy feat to be able to take out this team, but when you have talent like Penguin and Neptune on the Renegades, it just makes sense, and you just have Miquin and APG doing what they do as veterans, and this makes this team a very scary roster in New Orleans.
Yeah, these are some of the scariest rosters to play against. When you're a team that's potentially getting upset, it's generally because you have these other players on the team that can just go off at any moment. It's never like, oh man, we were outworked as a team and they just did a lot of these tactical maneuvers and did 2v1s, and we were just, you know, we were winning our 1v1 fights but weren't playing together as well. It's like, no, when you get outplayed in most cases, it's just these players that just outslay you, outposition you in certain cases, and that's what it feels like Renegades were doing in many of the games thus far in the series.
An attempted pull as well from Renegades is going to bring the flag on the opposite side, but it will be returned. So we're still back at 0-0 with World 2 sniper in hand. Seeing if he can potentially take out that player, but he will have the support there, just wisely enough backing away.
Yeah, it just feels like he's done that route quite a few times. Every single time he pushes over towards street, gets back down, back in his courtyard, and then reverts back towards hut and takes the street route again. You can see how much Royal 2 values that positional, that elevation. He likes that positional advantage because if anyone goes below him, he can easily win that pistol fight. If he's not being contested, he's going to push that advantage even further and get to something like ring 3. So it's just, he always loves that height advantage.
If someone goes ring one, there's going to be a lot of toys to play with there. A sniper and a rocket launcher waiting ring one. And actually, that was Penguin who did pick that up. Ends up dying immediately, though, to the hands of Royal 2. Neptune overlooking. Knows that a player is going to be right below him. Sees two, as a matter of fact, but will have the support of one of his teammates as he goes ring one, and he just wants to see if he can tag some players, and backsmacking there from Royal 2 is going to give Tox that ring control for the time being. Now they can push out. This can be an opportunity. This can be a moment for them to set up, get positioning, and then maybe make that flagpole happen, get another round of slays perhaps.
And just when we thought things were kind of slow and these teams are fighting over ring, just like that, Tox, they get a few kills and they push in towards this flag. It looks like Snakebite decides to run this one back towards Rocks. Originally, it looked like they were going to go down flag ramp either out of panic or because they felt like they had the slays to go as fast as possible. Lethal picking up kills on Neptune and Penguin. That's going to make this flag a little bit easier to run for Snakebite. But Snakebite was taken down. But it doesn't matter when you end up getting an overkill. Lethal.
Cousin Daddy TJ. And that's going to be the flag cap there for Tox. They're going to put it in 1-0. Woo! You love to see that happen, Walshy.
Yep. Tox backs against the walls and they answer, and Lethal getting overkill and Tox capitalizing. Not much of a surprise there.
Big Daddy TJ with the overkill. Like what I'm seeing from Tox. They're continuing to apply the pressure to Renegades. Renegades constantly having to play out of their flags. There's always someone pushing rocks. That is a spot that Tox like to push on. And if you're Renegades, I mean, it's like you have to put your attention somewhere and you know, try and make a pull yourself, and it seems like you're just constantly just getting pushed in on the rocks. Yeah,
in general, on Refuge, aka Sanctuary, you want to push one side of the opponent's base. You generally don't want to be pushing in rocks and on side side because it makes spawns unpredictable. They could be spawning anywhere. It's going to be much tougher to get any sort of spawn trap. You're going to rely more on individual fights. Whereas if you just push in one side, rocks is generally the easiest because teams aren't trying to hold their rocks down as much. They're not saying, all right, let's stack 2 or 3 on rocks and make sure they don't get there, because the other team's just gonna take your snipe hut. Rocks is one of the easier ways where you can just sprint in on your own, create a nuisance. There's gonna be players on the opposing team that generally have to stand on their side of Bond or over in their hut and use their time and attention to focus on you. That creates opportunities for your teammates to push in, give you help, and get you a flagpole.
Flagpole, actually, just as you say that, Walshy, is gonna happen for Neptune, and Renegades looking to make this one through the rocks. Will be Neptune flying through, but he's gonna get stopped short just before he got to the courtyard. APG will be standing around and waiting for this one so close. Can he make this touch happen? He goes right in for the touch. It's going to keep the flag in play just for a little while longer, but Renegades need to get the kills to pull that flag out of there, and it's in such a bad spot, right? Just the area right between the courtyard and the rocks. You have the upper hand, you have that bridge advantage, and if you're not careful, you can give up your hut, just like what we're seeing right now.
Yes, you can, but it looks like Lethal's gonna get that kill on Penguin. Frosty been doing a great job of defending here. Keep in mind, he's been sitting back as a sniper a while. Not only just stopping the pulls here from Renegades, but also a second pull over at his own base. So there's just a lot going on there where he has to defend, and that's just a testament to how aggressive Renegades are right now.
Action is slowed down here, just for the time being, as the rockets are now gonna come up, go into play, and let's see how this is going to pan out for Renegades. Neptune had my eye on him throughout this series as he's had some pretty big moments, but you can just see the frustration there as he makes his call-outs to his teammates. That will lead to a double kill for Royal 2 and ring control now for Tox. And 3 minutes, 35 seconds left. Lots of time to work with, Walshy.
Yeah, plenty of time to work with, but it starts to get a little bit scarier here. I think you're going to want to see some sort of play here from Renegades once this new set comes up. Here comes that rock pressure, though, that we talked about before, GB. They're getting some of those kills. They decide just to instantly push in rocks and put this pressure. So even if Lethal just gets this kill right here, he is still just a huge distraction over on the Renegade side of the base. And look at Lethal. He knows it. He realizes they have to send players at him. And that's what Renegades are doing. They send 2 players back in their rocks. So even though Lethal gets taken out there, he bought time for his teammates to spawn. He bought time for his teammates to push into ring. It wasn't a wasted death. It was a time buyer for Tox.
They just needed to put bodies in the rocks. They've been losing that area the entire time.
Not so much put bodies in the rocks. It's so you're in the right mindset there, saying you don't want players in rocks, but a lot of times you just want to cut them off before they get there.
Yeah.
So in certain cases, like, you don't want to put bodies in rocks, but it's like, in order to prevent Tox from getting there, maybe holding someone closer to your car or somewhere in ring 2 where you can possibly just catch someone just running and sprinting out there and get a free kill.
Let's see how Royal 2 and company are going to have to fight out of their base. Things have slowed down here, and they're looking. He knows that someone's going to be out there, and he's waiting for him to poke out. There he is. And also ring 3. Did not expect the push from ring 3.
Those are the plays we talked about, GB. Player gets in rocks, buys some time, distracts, gets players over from snipe or ring to turn their backs on, and then pressure comes in from elsewhere. They get free kills, they get free damage on a player, even as good as Royal 2.
1 minute, 50 seconds left on the clock, and Renegades not able to put something together there. They lose out, I believe. Yeah, they lose out on Penguin inside of the rocks, but now Tox having to play defense here. You just need to, or excuse me, Tox having to play defense here. Renegades playing that aggressive offense. They're just not really making any moves right now. Every time they get a kill, there's always someone there to just stop them.
Yeah, and that's frustrating. It feels like anytime you start to get something going, you just get shut down. I'm noticing that we had Penguin over there in the rocks. I guess you could almost call him a rock hopper Penguin. No, never mind. Moving on.
Nope.
Either way,
nope.
That was great rotations there from members of Renegades, and we're gonna have to see what they do because we talked about before. They had plenty of time. It felt like the clock was not really much of a concern. But now with a minute left, Tox just has to get slays. They have to play defense, and every kill that they get is worse and worse for Renegades somehow getting back in this game. So I really don't know what they can do. It looks like here's part of that desperation sitting in. Neptune, generally one of those players who wants to get slays before making a push up, decides to instantly push up. He is the key player on the team. If Neptune dies, this is going to be disastrous for Renegades. And Neptune falls. I don't see almost as close by, but it looks like Penguin is pushing up flag ramp, and there's another traded kill. That's 3 members down. Tox needs to keep track of where APG is. They found him in ring, so they're comfortable. They know their flag is not threatened right now.
Yeah, they know no one's going to be in a position to be able to make a pull happen, make anything that could possibly change the course of this game with 15 seconds remaining and how much time it takes for you to bring that flag over to your base. That is going to do it. That is going to be Tox pushing this one to a Game 5, our first on the main stage. I love it, Dave. This is what I wanted. Finally.
We are getting what we wish for, GB. That is going to be a slow, drained 1-0 for Tox.
That was grueling.
Slowly killing their opponents, just like that.
Grueling matchup there. Took a lot out of Renegades. And heck, even more out of Tox to be able to make that flag cap happen there. But look at the slays as well. 91
Nearly
88.
even.
That's a reflection of what the game was.
Yep.
You know,
even slays.
Even though they were up by 1, it was the extra 3, if you will, right? That gave them the cap. But let's look at the post-game carnage.
Yeah, I also want to look at the damage. Every single time Penguin's just been leading in damage for his team. We've said that 2 other games thus far, and look at that. 3 out of 4 games so far that I've seen, Penguin has most damage for the Renegade squad. And at least 2 of the games, he's had the most damage in the game.
Wow. Just this matchup, this series has been amazing to see. I can't wait for Reciprocity Splice after this. That's right, we're gonna have another great winter semifinal matchup taking place right after this game. It's all about going to the winter finals. Tox, Renegades, 1 game away. But the players on that stage feeling the pressure. For Renegades, they were so close, so close. All they had to do, I mean, you know, hate to say it like that, but all they had
That's
to
all
do,
you gotta do?
all you had
That's
to
it?
do was win refuge.
Dang,
and then you were in.
I didn't realize. Dang, you
like
should be their coach, GB. You should have told him that.
I know, Hoaxer's too good.
Yeah, Hoaxer.
We also have 2 fantastic coaches on that stage, by the way. Royal 1 and Hoaxer. Great coaches there. But now it's time to go into Game 5. Slayer Plaza, 50 kills to win. Overshield up for grabs. And let's jump on board with Penguin here, who has been quite the difference maker in this game, and he's able to neutralize the overshield there and take that trade.
Yeah, Penguin taking out Frosty, just making sure there isn't some sort of snowball lead here at the start of the game. Looks like Lethal and Royal 2 were able to pick up a couple kills of their own though, and so I wouldn't be surprised if Sniper is in the hands of theirs, but it looks like Mikwin did have it for a moment. So these teams are just scrambling right now. There is no setup yet, so when there's no setup, get back in that fight.
Good control, or excuse me, good carnage. That's what I like to see. The carnage and the insanity. In a game 5 situation, 6-4 right now, we just start here, and I mean, you know, to take the overshield out of the game, Sniper has just been a non-factor this entire time.
Yes, no one's been able to get set up. And that's the biggest difference. Like we said, these teams are not afraid to charge right now during some of these neutral engages. One, because Sniper hasn't been set up in a safe position and is not ripping faces off. The second being the fact that you've been at least trading kills. So it's not like you're pushing into like a 2v4 situation trying to get a kill. So they've been good about at least getting a kill trade here and there. One also unique play right there from Royal 2 is he just said, you know what, I don't need this extra bullet. I'm just gonna shoot it and then reload so he doesn't have to go through 4 bullets and potentially leave an extra bullet for one of his opponents. So I think he was just doing that as a mitigation strategy, or he's just lazy and didn't want to reload a second time.
Yeah, you know, I think I'm gonna go with the former rather than the latter there, Walshy. Renegades are gonna have a 1-kill lead. APG finds a player, snipe one, and I think he's just gonna charge him. It's gonna be Frosty. 2 players, as a matter of fact, gonna be waiting for him, right bottom left. And that's gonna give Neptune and Penguin, who have been huge players in this matchup, some kills that keep them in 2.
Just right there, we were with Mikwin, and like his old team turning point, that was a huge moment in the game where he's helping get a couple of kills. He got that wingman medal too, so 5 assists during that chaos, which is unthinkable. Like, how does he stay alive for that long, help with 5 engagements, and stay alive? So, huge place from Mikwin to help bring his team back in this, but Royal 2 looks like he has something else to say about it.
Also, another overshield was burned by Penguin. He just got wiped out immediately by Royal 2. Now Tox, 1-kill lead in this game. So fragile right now. What a, just again, like I have just been so enamored by how these 2 teams have clashed against one another. And it's such a close game, a reflection of this whole series, whether it was in the Oddball game or even in game 1. I mean, this is just what you want to see. A top tier Halo and Snakebite. Put it on the dead hands.
Game 5 just going huge, getting that double kill, creating the opening for his team to push in towards Snipe side. They might be able to acquire the Sniper, and that's all thanks to PJ right here. He's gonna put the gun in his own hands and take this game over. So let's see what he just does.
And just got the shot on the Mikwin when we were on the overhead view. Just a casual headshot, because why not? You know, that's just Snakebite things. And now the lead starts to build for Tox. 24-18, 6 kills, but again, will not count out Renegades because it was like this before. It was like this on Slayer Truth, I believe, when Renegades, they were down quite a bit.
Look at the fear here from Tox when it comes to Sniper. They start to get taken out when they're wasting those bullets. And that strategy has something to do with being scared of the snipers on the other team, and then also realizing that they had a bit of a lead. So when a team has a significant lead, let's say it's a 5 to 10 kill lead, one of the best ways for your opponents to get back in the game is through power weapons or power-ups. So when you try to remove that factor off the map, yeah, sure, you're possibly wasting ammo that maybe one of your teammates might pick it up and use it. But it's more of a, it's a smarter play, because when you take that out of the equation, you're saying, all right, you have to beat us teamwork only. You can't get a power weapon or power-up run and take us out. So right now, Mikwin can still get a couple kills with this, but it could have been much worse.
The overshield, oh, just like that, it's going to be wiped away. I was going to say the overshield now starting to play into this game, but Snakebite ended up getting hit with a charged up plasma pistol and almost got that kill onto Mikwin. He was not careful. Sniper's going to be low. I think that had like maybe one or 2 bullets left in that.
When Mikwin had it, it had 3. Mikwin at least shot 1 off, and I find it hard to believe that he did not get at least 1 more bullet off before he died.
2 kills, Walshy. 2 kills separating these teams. Neptune needs some assistance, some support, but no one was there to help him out at the moment. Oof, man, it's like you're on pins and needles here. Everyone's just trying to get the advantage, trying to see if they can wiggle their way into the lead here, or tie up the game, or in Tox's case, maintain their lead.
Well, you just have these interesting battles across the map. Right now, this player who's over at top gold is trying to lay damage on APG so that his player near blue/BR can charge into APG and have some sort of advantage. And Mikwin was able to find that old snipe, so Mikwin died with that snipe without wasting any ammo. So right now he's on last bullet, misses that on Penguin, but it's all right. They got the double team here. Huge kill though from, I believe that was Royal 2 taking out APG before he got double teamed.
1 kill game, 6 minutes, 27 seconds left. Lethal managing to get kills as well as Frosty, and Mikwin ends up getting caught by himself in the yard. That didn't make a lot of sense.
That feels odd. I mean, both these teams, they've been so concentrated and holding center on the map. They've been playing so well, capitalizing on mistakes, and it felt like Renegades maybe just wanted to go beyond the aggressive play. They decided to just push towards yard, but as they do that, we've seen nearly 5 unanswered kills in the favor of Tox. Looks like Penguin and Neptune able to get the double team there, but who has the high ground? Look out above you, that's lethal.
The high ground, have we not learned anything from George Lucas? The high ground is necessary. An overshield is now spawned, and with 8 kills in favor of Tox as well as overshield, this is their game to lose. Green Gun is actually going to miss on that one, forcing that player to have to go back in yard, but they have Sniper, they have Overshield. This is a Tox victory if you are a betting man.
Renegades were looking good up until this point. Now they have their work cut out for them. If 7 kill deficit wasn't enough, have fun playing against Lethal Sniper and that Overshield.
Lethal going low, and now the game slows down. As it should. There's no reason to get aggressive, no reason to push up. You're kind of waiting for the Overshield to just go away as it ticks down. I think
time is on Renegade's side at the moment, just because they're waiting for Snakebite's OS to run out a little bit.
Oh, excuse me, he has about a quarter, I would say, of his Overshield left. There you see on your screen.
And that's not enough to make a push at this point. I mean, that first bullet basically kind of mitigates the rest of it. It's basically like a 6 shot kill at this point, so really no point to like try to make use of that Overshield anymore.
And a good job by Renegades to just say, you know what, we don't need to get crazy, we don't need to push you up, let's just take our time. Still though, the thing that hurts Renegades here is that every single trade that happens is a kill or a moment that goes in Tox's favor, as they only have 7 left to win.
And the trades just aren't hurt either. The fact that Lethal's using this ammo, they need a sniper to get back in this game. Lethal being very liberal using this ammo. He does not care to save it or conserve it. He's just saying, get this weapon off the map and give me some kills with it. He doesn't care. He doesn't really need to get all the kills with it either. It just needs to make sure it does not fall in the Renegade's hands.
This has been such a challenge for Tox in the series. Renegades, though, so close, but now that they don't have really much to work with here. Overshield, though, is going to be coming up in a couple seconds. Maybe, just maybe, that's what they could use. They just lost 2 players there, and that's the last bullet. If they were keeping track, then they know that there's no more left in the chamber, and Penguin knows that OS is going to be coming up, but he's just taking shots, and he ends up burning it, and that is going to be the 48th, 49th kill. 1 more remaining, and that is essentially going to be GG. So close, but just not enough for the Renegades here, as it's basically push because you can't lose.
Yeah, and that's
what
just
a series that was.
That game kind of got decided towards the middle end at that point when they got that 7-kill lead. It felt like they were neck and neck. I want to say they're tied around like the 33 mark, and it felt like we just saw 5 or 6 unanswered kills in favor of Tox. We saw Mikwin charging toward Yard. We saw a couple of deaths on the opposite side of the map, and maybe Mikwin was charging toward Yard to avoid players because he realized his teammates were falling, but I don't exactly know what happened there. But Renegades fell apart at the end and were not able to bounce back.
That Refuge CTF game certainly took a lot out of them. It went the distance, it went to time, but then when you make your way over to Plaza and so many nooks and crannies that Tox could take advantage of, but that was just such a great game between 2 equally matched teams. Went all the way to game 5, and it really just came down to the little details, the nitty-gritty, that resulted in the win for Tox. I mean, overall, though, if you're Renegades, yeah, you're disappointed that you didn't get the win, but you're also feeling pretty good going into the elimination bracket.
Yeah, I mean, Renegades have answered or shut down a lot of doubters so far this tournament alone. I mean, taking Tox to game 5, almost taking that series off of the dynasty of a team. And I don't use that word lightly at all. I mean, there are very few teams that consider a dynasty in all of Halo's history, and Tox, aka CLG, aka Optic, is one of them.
Our next matchup as well will be a good one. Splice, Reciprocity. A fantastic matchup underway after this game. There you see the members of Renegade frustrated. And I totally understand why they would be frustrated. Many opportunities for them to be able to tie the game, get the lead, establish control. It just didn't go in their way, and that's what Tox does. They frustrate you to no end.
Yeah, the longer that series goes, the more steam they're kind of running out of. We saw how Renegades were doing so much better when they could make the game pace a little bit faster. We saw it throughout the beginning of the game, even when Renegades were down by a couple kills, they were able to get back in the fight, get a couple trades, get control, and when they actually did get control of the power weapons like Snipe, we saw Mickwin just ripping some faces, so they had a lot of things just not go so well for them.
Yeah, and it's been quite the series, though. Went to Game 5. Tox comes out on top 3-2, but to break it all down, we're going to send it over to Lottie in the desk. Take it away.
Thank you so much, guys. Now, I have a very special person sitting right next to me here. Snakebite, welcome to the desk.
Thanks.
First time up here with me. What a game you delivered us. I mean, super exciting. Probably not exciting for you, I can imagine.
not
Very
at all.
stressful. Tell me how you felt that it went for you guys.
It felt pretty good. Obviously, losing 2 games in a best of 5 is always rough. Going to Game 5, the nerves are definitely there. But honestly, the game types we lost weren't like True TS can kind of go either way. Renegades is especially really good on it. And echelon ball, Oddball isn't one of our strongest game types yet. So, it was a close game. We kind of choked in the end. So the communication was still good going into the 4th game.
I mean, we spoke about it before. Oddball, it isn't your strongest. However, we have actually seen you, win an oddball map, and you guys are getting better at it. Clutch, you were saying, you think that they can improve on it, and it's just something that takes time.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, PJ knows. I tell him all the time. Like when Tox loses, it's really because of one thing, and it's your guys' lack of power weapon control on game types. And I don't think you guys had a single set of rockets. No. And a lot of the times, if you go back and you watch the theater, like I know you will tonight in the hotel room, you're going to see one of your players fighting another one of their players for rockets. Why make it a one-on-one? And I know it's a whole lot more intricate than all that, and cameras coming up at the same time, and it's you guys deciding what you want to do.
It's not as easy as just getting it.
I understand that, man. But we got to do a better job of getting rocks if we want to come up with a dub this tournament.
That's true.
Now, obviously, PJ, things happen that you don't expect. Now, looking back at the World Championships before, the Grand Final, it's a tough one to talk about. I know I'm putting you on the spot here, but 4-0 against Splice, I feel like you guys could have done better. So looking back at that and then coming to this event now, it's a new season, there's a lot of new rosters as well, but you guys have stayed the same. You clearly believe in your team. What changes have you made coming to this event?
I think we just focus on more what we need to do. I mean, last season, it's the same thing no matter what. You're just constantly trying to improve. Obviously, now there's some new game types, which I think play in our favor, especially down the road of getting more practice on it. We practice every single day, so we should be pretty good on those. But yeah, like people are talking about making a roster change. We believe in each other no matter what. Getting second to Splice, obviously, it's unfortunate. You always want to win, but in the end, it doesn't feel like an individual reason why we're losing. They were just the better team last season, which isn't something easy to say, but they were. They won 3 events in a row, so hopefully this season we can just kind of get back to our winning ways.
I hope so too. I'm counting on it. I hope you do give them a good run for their money. Let's go through the maps though. We have you up here. It'd be great to get your insight into this as well. So first up, we had strongholds on Plaza. Now, you guys really took full control here. Renegades just couldn't stop it. Elamite, looking at this, how were Tox playing?
I think you guys are playing pretty well this series. I think big props to Renegades. They came out and performed really well. A lot of clutch individual plays. But I thought you guys did a fantastic job. And what I want to know from you was there anything like in this series that kind of, or especially game number 1 here, that really kind of threw you guys off guard or caught you on that you weren't expecting?
No, I wouldn't. For game 1 especially, I don't think anything threw us off guard. I mean, it was kind of just a standard Plaza Stronghold game. We did a really good job of actually rotating. One of our biggest weaknesses on Plaza is just we'll have a 2 cap and we'll push for a 3, and then we'll end up giving a 2. So nothing caught us off guard. Truth, their ability to collapse on bases was a lot better than ours. So that surprised us on Truth. I know we'll get into that, but Yeah, that's really the only thing. Their teamwork is a lot better than I actually probably thought that it would be.
You're right, Snakebite. Let's get into map number 2 and we'll talk about it. So, like you said, Slayer on Truth. Now, Renegades really took the lead here and you guys just couldn't answer back. Clutch, what was going wrong?
I mean, this Renegades roster is very individually skilled, and they have a lot of players that like to push fast, and that's what they were continuously doing to you guys. You guys were getting caught stuck in bases, and they were just flying across the map. I remember seeing one time, you'll remember this perfectly, PJ, when Neptune was flying into bottom red and you were shooting it, like you spawn car side and you just start shooting them. Yeah, you got the kill, but that just showed me like literally how they were trying to play that game type. They're trying to get to places before you guys are even like able to push out of the base, which props to Renegades. They're a good team. They played this great game type really well. They control camos pretty well as well, and that's why they came out with a win.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, they actually did a really good job of flying bottom mid on us. It's probably honestly what won them the game. If they just did standard pushes, because we had opportunities to win the game. We had a couple pushes that really could have separated us into the win. But they just, it's like you said, they played so fast where it didn't feel like we ever got comfortable on that map.
I mean, the winning streak for Renegades continued from there. Now, number 3, so it's Oddball on Echelon. It's a brand new map coming in to Halo. And Mikwin, it could have ruined his day, that clamber. Honestly, it really could have, but it didn't. It was a very close game, though. Elamite, looking at this, and obviously, of course, Snakebite, chip in if you want to, but what went wrong?
Yeah, if anything, I want to hear from Snakebite on this one. The end of that game, walk me through the final 30 seconds. You guys had control, ended up losing it. I'm sure we'll start to see it here on these replays here, but walk us through the end and what went wrong.
Yeah, honestly, it was my mistake. We had all dead, we had ball. I think we needed probably 20 to 30 seconds left. And I was on that open ramp engine side, and honestly, it just comes down to not being comfortable on the map yet. We knew they were spawning closets. That's when they got those free set of rockets shortly after. And I honestly didn't know where to go. I was just stuck. One guy pushed me, and I just played the ball as if that's kind of just what I think Oddball is right now. Is if you feel like you're being pressured, you just play it. I probably could have gone another like 20 to 30 seconds if I had just trusted my teammates were going to kill the one guy that was pushing me. And then after that, they just get rockets for free. They had a really good thrust with the ball into the bottom of the lift, which is where the rock guy was too, so you can't just walk in and kill the ball guy like you usually would. Yeah, power up and control, probably bad rotations on my part.
Now, what kind of chunks of time do you normally get in that game type? Like, how long does a good team normally maintain control of that ball, do you think?
Right now, I think the best you're going to get is probably 40 seconds, or maybe if you can get like 45. I don't know. Right now, it's just you get the ball, you get it to a good spot, and then as soon as you feel like you're being pressured, you're going to play it, then you're going to go for the new one. So I don't think it's a huge setup game type right now. It could be in the future. Who knows?
Well, let's swiftly move on to capture the flag on Refuge. So map number 4. You guys, do you know what? I'm going to be honest here. Your shots weren't looking as good as they usually are. What was going through your mind through this one?
We actually thought this game could have been a lot easier won by us. It could have been like an individual shot thing like you mentioned. We felt like we were just in their base constantly, had multiple opportunities. They, towards the end of the game, started really picking up their just pace of the game of flying our rocks, and they were just staying alive. At one point we had 2 snipes in our hut, and they just stayed alive our rocks over and over again. I think I picked up the snipe 3 different times, if I just kept dying with it, trying to kill the guy out of our rocks. So definitely a little bit probably individual sloppiness, and then also they just credit to them. I mean, they just kept us on our toes.
And then map number 5, the deciding map, which everyone loves, of course. Slayer on Plaza. Now, I've got to say, Lethal was looking fantastic on this map. It was so wonderful to watch. Clutch, what did you make of Tox's comeback in this?
Yeah, I mean, before we were even talking about Game 5, we were looking at the maps before the series started, and I honestly saw it going 5 just looking at the game types. But I was like, you know what? Royal 2 and Snakebite, you put them in a Game 5, and you know what happens. It's time to shine. Snakebite, I love so many times they cut to your screen and you had a snipe and you started wasting ammo, and I love that against players like Mikwin and Penguin, that the real way that they're going to come back and be able to win this game